Okay, here is the second part which you did today. For number 8, it wants you to multiply the expression to complete the table. When you multiply, you keep the denominator the same and just multiply the whole number in the numerator, which gave me 7. I can't leave it as an improper fraction. I need to switch it. So I do division. I do 7 divided by 6. If I did 7 divided by 6, I know that 6 goes into it one time, and then I would have a remainder of 1 left. So the one time that it went into becomes the whole number. The remainder becomes the numerator, and my denominator stays the same as 6. Just a little review of how to switch the improper to a mixed number. Okay, for this next one, it already gave me the mixed number, so all I had to do was find the improper. I moved the denominator over, so it stayed a 5, and I multiplied 12 times 1 to give me 12/5. They already did the work for me. It would have been 2 2/5 as the mixed number. Okay, for this one, I bring the 8 over because that's my denominator. I multiply the whole number by the numerator, which gave me 15. I did the division, and in the division, I know 8 can only go into 15 one time, which leaves me 7/8 left over. Okay, these are true or false. It wants you to just see if it works. For this first one, they did 2 8s plus 1 8 equals 13/6. We cannot add the denominator, so this one automatically is false. For B, when we subtracted, you got 3/5, so the answer was true. For 9/4 plus 2/4, you got 11/4, and you needed to convert that into a mixed number. And if you did, you would find that the answer was indeed 2 3/4. For number 9D, they did the addition, but they also added the numerator, which automatically makes it wrong. For 9E, it does 8 5 6 minus 6 4 6. You can see my work to the side. The 5 is bigger than the 4, so I can just subtract straight through. So I have 5 minus 4 gave me 1. My denominator stays the same. Then I work on the whole numbers. 8 minus 6 equals 2. So 2 and 1 6, 2 and 1 6, so it's true. For this last one, I have 2 7/10 plus 3 3/10. They added the denominator on this one. Did you see that? They did 10 plus 10, so it automatically makes it wrong. If I did do the adding correct, I would have gotten 5 10/10. And since 10/10 is a whole, I need to add it to the 5, which would have given me the answer of 6. Okay, this next one says that Elias says the problem can be solved using addition. Vladimir says it can be solved using multiplication. Explain why both boys are correct. Well, multiplication is repeated addition, correct? So Milo practiced piano for 3/5 hours every day. How many hours did he practice in 5 days? Well, that could be 3/5 plus 3/5 plus 3/5 plus 3 plus 3/5, which gave me 15/5, or 3. Or I could have done the multiplication because repeated addition is the same as multiplication and gotten the same answer. So they are both correct. Okay, taking a look at this one right here. We have 5 2/3 plus 4 2/3. Well, when I added, I got 9 4/3. Can I leave that 4/3 improper? No, I can't. So I needed to do the division. I did 4 divided by 3 equals 1, and I had 1 left over, which then becomes 1 1/4. I need to add that new mixed number to that whole number I found before of 9, and I would get 10 1/4 in the end as an answer. For 9 3/8, I subtract 3 7/8, and that gives me 5 4/8. And, well, I had to first ungroup. So you can see I made the 9 and 8, and I added 8 because my denominator tells me how many pieces are in the whole. I added 8 to the 3 to get 11/8. So now I can do 11/8 minus 7/8 to get that 4/8. And then I can do 8 minus 3 to give me 5. So I have 5 4/8. Remember, when you ungroup, you're not adding 10 like in subtraction. When we do normal, instead of just fractions, you're adding whatever the denominator is to the numerator. So I added 8 to the numerator. Okay, coming down here, it wanted you to build a model. It said in the morning on Saturday, he played for 2/3 hour. In the afternoon, he played for 2 1/3 hours. I combined these together. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I knew we had 9/3 total hours. I did 9 divided by 3, which gave me 3 hours as my answer. For part B, it wanted you to add on 1 2/3 that he played on Sunday. So I did 3 plus 1 2/3. Well, since there's no fraction here, I just brought the 2/3 over and added the whole numbers. 3 plus 1 of 4. So 4 2/3 should be your answer for for 12 part B. For 13, it is a product of a unit, or not a unit, but of a fraction and a whole number. It said Rebecca's soup recipe calls for 3/4 cup of milk. She needs 3 times as much milk to make a triple batch of soup. How many cups of milk does Rebecca need? Well, I created my model. I drew 3/4 cup, added a second 3/4 cup, and a third 3/4 cup to get 9/4 because I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I had 9/4 cup. I did 9 divided by 4, which gave me the answer of it fit in 2 times with 1 left over. So I had 2 1/4 cups. For B, it says it wants you to show 2 equations that could solve it. So you could do 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 to get that 2 1/4. Or, since it's repeated addition, I could turn it into multiplication of 3 times 3/4 to get 2 1/4. For 14, it's once again just checking to see if the equation is true. So I have this. They added it together. I got 8/10, so yes. Added these together. I got 5/5, so no. Added these together. Well, actually, I couldn't add these together because if you look, this denominator is 6 and this denominator is 5. I can't add denominators if they're not the same, so the answer is no. For this one, I added them. I got 3/8, which is the same as that, so yes. For this one, I got 10/12, which is the same, so yes. So the answer should have been yes, no, no, yes, yes for number 14. Okay, last few problems. This one was kind of tricky. You could have multiple answers. It might not be the answer that I have listed here because it is based on what you did. If you look here, this is a line plot. Underneath here is the trails that she went on. Up here is how many times she did it. So Andrea hiked 3 miles last week. She could have hiked 1.5 miles. Describe 2 other combinations of trails she could have hiked. Well, 1.5 plus 1.5 equals 2 2/2, which 2/2 is a whole. So it would be 1 whole added on to that 2, which would give you the answer of 3. So I know I need to make combinations of 3, and you can combine them however you want. These are the way I did it. I did 1 3/3, or 1 3/8 plus 1, which gave me 2 3/8. Then I added on 5/8 because I knew if I added on 5/8, I would have 2 8/8. 8/8 is a whole, so I'd add that onto the 2 and get 3. My other one, I did 7/8 plus 5/8, and I got 12/8, which is the same as 1/2. And I knew from earlier in the problem, 1/2 plus 1/2 would give me 3, so I added on another half, which gave me 3. So those are 2 ways you can do it. The way to check this one is add your fractions, see if it comes up to 3. If it does come up to 3, you got it right, okay? There are so many possibilities, I couldn't write them all. So I just gave you 2 that I came up with. For this, one of the last ones, it says select the expression that is equivalent to 2 2/6. Mark all that apply. The way you solve this is you add up these answers to see what you get. I added these together and got 4/6. Was that 2 2/6? No, so this would not be correct. For this one, I added 1 plus 1, which gave me 2, and then I added 2/6, which gave me 2/6, so I said it was correct. 2 2/6 gives me 4/6 plus 2/6, which gave me 6/6, which is 1 whole, which is not correct. For D, it was 6/6 plus 6/6. I know each of those means 1 whole, so that was 2. And then 1/6 plus 1/6 equals 2/6. So 2 plus 2/6 would be 2 2/6, which would be the right answer, so I marked it. 26. I need to switch this to a mixed number. It became 3 and 2 6 once I did that. And I added 2 6, and that gave me 3 and 4 6, which is nowhere close to it, so it is not correct. Then for this one, I have 6 6 plus 3 6 plus 3 6 plus 2 6. And so that would be 1 whole. And then when I add 3 6 plus 3 6, I got 6 6, which would be another whole. So 1 plus 1 plus 2 6 would be 2 and 2 6. Now this last one, I guess I forgot to do. So we're going to do it right now together. So I have 11 fourths. And I need to switch it to a mixed number. I use division to do this. So this would be the same as 11 divided by 4. And I know 4 goes in it. 4, 8, 12. 12's too big, so it only went in twice. So I know it goes in twice. And then 11 minus 8 would give me 3. So I have 3 left over, and that goes in my numerator. And I keep my denominator the same. So I use whatever the answer is, which was 2, with the remainder of 3. This becomes the whole number because it fit in a full 2 times. This becomes the numerator because it was what was left over. I hope this helped you as you were correcting. Thanks so much for following along with me.